Welcome to the Simmons Sporting Goods All Things Hunting Podcast, brought to you by Browning Firearms, the best there is, Realtree Outdoors, Swarovski Optic, Browning Ammo, and Banded Waders. Here's your hosts, Caleb Wallace, Cole Barthel, and Kyle Bearfield.
Welcome back to the Simmons Sporting Goods All Things Hunting Podcast. This week's episode is brought to you by Leupold. Leupold is probably one of the most known names in optics in the entire United States, maybe the world. Wouldn't y'all agree?
Definitely the United States for sure.
They do. We got some really good deals going on Leupold right now. The 1400i rangefinder is on sale for $199. It's a great rangefinder. And then their scopes, they go from $299 for $340 up to above $2,000. And when you even in the Freedom series, you can get their custom. It's called CDS. If you see CDS, folks say, what does that mean? It's custom dial system is what it means. And so you buy this scope from Leupold that has this exposed knob on top, which also locks on zero. Has a little button you have to push where you can turn it either, anyway. And you put all your ballistics off of your box of ammo in on Leupold's website, along with your elevation, average temperature, sight height overboard, and all that. And Leupold sends you a free laser etched turret to match up with your caliber and everything that you're shooting. And if you're zeroed at 100, you got a 1.5, 2, 2.5, and what that number represents is the yard line that you're dead on at. So you're hunting a pipeline, something like that, deer's crossing at 600 yards, you range him, dial
up,
hold steady, and kill him.
Yeah. The steady part's the hard part, though.
That's the
tough part.
And more realistically, what this thing does is makes it easier to kill a deer at, let's say 300 to 400, maybe 500 is pushing it. And
yeah,
I know it's been done further than that, but I'm not shooting deer past 500 yards.
No, we'll get into it later, but I shot one at 400 the other day, and it was harder than I remember making some long-range shots at trying to kill that deer. I struggled for a while to stay on him and get on him and be steady. But Leupold has always had a great name in optics, but American optics in general has come leaps and bounds, over the past 15 years or so. It used to be if you didn't have German or Austrian optics,
you was going to be back at the camp way too early.
Yeah, but now American optics is unbelievable. The glass and the quality. Absolutely. And everything in Leupold has done a really good job, and I believe that they have lifetime warranty too.
Beaverton, Oregon. Yep, is where the Leupold USA is. Sure is. Yes, lifetime warranty on Leupold products. 100%. I've sent some very old Leupolds back. That ask for a quote for repair, and they go through them, replace the refill the gas, replace the seals, clean it internally, repair the erector system. When your turret's and all that needs done, and ship it right back to you at zero charge.
Yeah, and don't be worried about spending money on optics. Optics hold value.
Absolutely,
good optics hold value.
Good optics. So if you buy a good optic, it'll last you a lifetime, 100%.
You don't get rid of them.
No, you don't get rid of them. You may now something the Leupold in all optic companies, they may have something better a couple years down the road, and you may move that older one off on some other gun or something like that to upgrade, but you never get rid of it. You still use it for something.
That's right. I swap scopes around like it's a hobby, I think. My wife gets on them every time she sees me on the vise in my room swapping a scope.
You just got one sighted in, ain't even hunted with it yet, and then pulled it.
Scopes are like you can't have enough of them.
You can't have enough. You can't ever have enough because, and here's what happens. You got
guns, then you need scopes. And then it's like, I want a little bit better one.
Absolutely. You go to these banquets or stuff like that, or you enter these raffles, whatever, and let's say you win a rifle, now you got to buy a scope.
Wicked Blend from Browning, the ultimate in waterfowl ammunition, featuring the Wicked Wad system. Aerodynamically stabilized for greater downrange energy and extra knockdown power. Loaded with precision bismuth and plated steel shot that delivers high energy retention with consistent tight patterns for cleaner kills and easy retrieves. Wicked Blend from Browning, the best there is.
It's hunting season. Right dead smack dab middle of hunting season.
We've been at it too hard. Me and Cole are both kind of under the weather from something weird. We don't know what it is from Colorado. It hit us like a ton of bricks when we got home, but we're getting through it. Probably could be from killing too many big bucks, except for me, it's not a whitetail. I've had a rough go putting my hands on a whitetail that I have drawn blood on this year. Takes me back to like 2015, I think was the last one I lost with a bow, and now I've lost 2.
Kyle got so aggravated, he bought a new bow. He called, he's like, hey, I'm in Oklahoma. I've lost 2 deer. I got to have a new bow. I'm like, you think it's your bow? No, it's not, but I'm not shooting this. I'm not shooting this bow anymore. I need a new bow. Somebody's going to, Matty Wiggins, come by and pick it up, get it rigged out, and send it on.
Yep.
And so, and Cole killed an absolute monster of a deer.
But with a muzzleloader.
He had a little struggle with the bow too, but something weird. It actually just something that you probably never seen happen.
He didn't tell me that. He had a struggle with a bow.
He told you that?
I did. I told you I hit a deer with a bow.
But it's not that he hit the deer; it's how he hit the deer. That's important.
I shot my wrong pin.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, I shoot on my dial. I dial down. Well, one, the deer comes walking like he's going to hit that 40 trail, which was perfect, just like the 4 does did in front of him. But, you know, sometimes he doesn't do that.
No,
exactly.
they don't
And he
do
goes
that.
up and hits the second trail, which was at 60. I was like, oh, gosh. I don't know if I need to do that, but this last day, last morning, I've known the deer for a long time. I'm going to take a shot. Everything's calm. So I dial to 60, draw back, let it fly. Skips off a hill in front of the deer and punctures him in the gut.
Skips off the ground like 15 yards in front of it. On a hill, there's a hill, so it's not as low as you would think because of the hill. You're shooting over a hill. It touched the hill.
A little hump.
Yeah.
But what I did is my bottom dial. I shoot off my top dial, and I shoot my top pin every time. I never even practice it. My other one's about 12 yards over, and I never shoot my bottom pin. And I dialed my bottom one.
And shot the top.
Yes. So I shot him at about 48 and bounced it off the hill and skipped up and hit him.
Arrow went in him. Deer runs off.
Never, I mean, carried the arrow with him
Has a deer showed back up on camera? Or?
Yeah, and we saw him. Me and Matty Wiggins saw him a week later or so. You know.
Showed up on camera, not a big wound, but we're going on probably 40 days of not seeing him.
Yeah.
30. Well, how many?
Yeah, 30 probably.
25, 30. And Kyle says he left us this time last year. We do have deer leave us.
Yeah, sure.
But we're a little nervous that it got too much of that, busted that gut, and it leaked. Too much infection got in there, and he got sick.
Yeah.
Basically, what would happen, he wouldn't get up and coyotes would get him.
Yep. Hopefully not.
Oh, we hope not.
Hopefully not.
He's a 150-inch 8-point. He's a big deer.
Come by Simmons Sporting Goods and check out the new models of the X-Bolt rifle from Browning, the best there is. Now back to the Simmons Sporting Goods All Things Hunting Podcast.
Mine was more of a bonehead move.
Oh, yeah, I saw the video. It definitely was.
That was just, I'd hurt my elbow. That's going to be my number one excuse.
I love these excuses.
My number two excuse was that I was so worried about the feeder being in the frame of the video that I was more worried about that than killing the deer. I should have been just stone cold, I'm going to kill the deer when James Thompson, who's filming me, says kill the deer.
Yeah.
But I was trying to micromanage him. That was another mistake. But just so happened, the deer gets right, gets out there, he's 24 yards, draw back. When I didn't have my arrow, here's excuse number 3. I didn't have my arrow on my bow when a deer walked in. He surprised us. So we're inside a Millennium buck hut. It's black in there.
Mm-hmm.
When I knock my arrow, my nocturnal light comes on.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I draw back on the deer, he immediately sees a giant glowing red knock up in the stand. And not only does he look at us, he turns and faces us. And
So you're drawn.
I'm drawn. He's
With him
24
facing.
yards. He's facing, not 100% facing, but he's like 75% facing. But I've killed a deer before in that scene where you shoot in front of their shoulder, behind their neck, and you get it into their ribs. No problem. I said, I got this. I forgot. Don't know. This is also the very first hunt of the season for me. Very first morning, within 5 minutes, I've still got ring rust from bow hunting. I probably hadn't killed a deer bow hunting in 3 years. So I got 3 years of ring rust too.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot that he would duck. Does that make sense? That's as stupid
Yeah.
as that sounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna shoot him, and I shot mid level, and he ducked, and I hit him high in the neck with a downward angle that probably got too much into his chest cavity, but not enough into his chest cavity that we could recover him. But he died somewhere, I believe, because he's been gone for too long. We never saw him again on camera, and he was too regular on camera at that spot, I think, not to come back.
All right. Well, let's quit acting like BB King and singing the blues, and let's hit the high points of what happened this season.
Now,
Like
when you
Cole-
put a gun in our hands, things get different.
Hey, look, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'll run over that dude with the truck if that's what it takes to get him dead. I don't care what we kill him with. Let's get him killed. But Cole killed a typical 7x7 14 point. That was, I mean, one of the best looking deer I've ever seen. And
He was also hunting. You can tell the story, Cole, but he was hunting him with a bow as well.
Yeah, there was about 3 deer that if any of the 3, we don't claim deer, but any of the 3 would have walked by,
yeah,
it was over with.
Yeah.
It was over with. But and he was probably he's probably was one of the most patternable deer this year
This
we've
year,
ever
yeah.
had.
yeah.
And he was 7 years old, and we've known him for the last 4 years.
But this is the only year he's been real patternable.
He was the most unpatternable deer we've ever had until this year, until he established dominance, I guess. Or I don't even think that, because he was not ever. He did
think
not
he
like
was-
other bucks.
yeah. But
He
I think
liked
he
one
was-
or 2 other bucks, and that was it.
I think he was finally big enough and old enough that he wasn't as worried about another buck pushing him around.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to fight one, but he was at least mature enough now to say, no, I can hold my own.
But it was a crazy deal. I mean, 7 years old, and we'd seen him once in 7 years until this year. We probably had a half a dozen encounters with him the first 12 days of the season. But not, one of them was 150 yards, 120 yards, 80 yards, 60 yards, 40.
Right.
It just didn't happen.
We're hunting like a transition area between bedding and feed. So we're not trying to hunt him at his destination food area. We're not trying to hunt him at his destination bedding area. We're kind of catching him in the middle.
Right.
It's a gamble. It's a guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
It takes some
it always
strategic
is.
stuff. It takes we had 3 different setups in I don't know, less than 6 acre area right there.
Yeah. But like in Louisiana, you may have your target buck walk by you as many times as this buck walked by us. You just won't see him because it's so thick. But we can see out in
That's
Oklahoma
right.
and stuff. And so you can do the same thing in environments down here, but it obviously changes a little bit due to vision.
Visibility.
Stuff,
Well, we couldn't hunt. We can't hunt the feed in the morning, and you can't hunt the bedding.
Yeah.
Bedding's
Yeah.
half's off our property and half's not, but we just don't choose to hunt the bedding anyways. And then the feed, we can't hunt it in the morning, so we are taking a gamble in between. And when we do run feeders and other feed, but sometimes they get patternal, sometimes they don't. The biggest deer we had on the property, never had a trail cam picture of him this year, ever.
That's right.
Another buddy killed.
That's
That's another story in itself. though.
Yeah,
We can get into all that, but
we'll have to get Jordan up here
it's
one
just
day to tell that one. But that was an impressive deer too. And I love it when you kill one that you've never seen before, never had him on camera. Don't
he
know.
probably would never get to come up here. He has to. He's too busy. He has to
busy.
work.
Gotta
I
work.
know. He sells. He is my auto insurance agent, but he's got a
Yes,
couple
but he
girls that
has-
are at his office that are phenomenal. Because anytime I text him about something, he's like, "Oh, hey, just call the office and ask for
Yeah,
such.
but he can't leave the office.
No.
Is what he
Yes,
tells
'cause
me.
I'll-
He can't. He has to be there.
I asked
But
him.
wait, hey, October 1st, he can leave.
October 1, he can roll. I've noticed
can
that.
leave.
I've
Yes.
noticed that.
Oh,
Work day
right,
in the
open-
summer?
Oh, work
No,
trip,
no.
man.
Dang.
We're gonna try to get everybody to make 2 of the 4 work trips if y'all can. Okay. It's
Man.
tough.
Office can't leave the office.
Golly, man, we're swamped. Really? My kids. Oh, we all got kids. It's tough. It's tough.
Hey, you also can't have any. If you're in this
If he
circle of
wants to-
friends here, you cannot have any feelings.
No. If he wants to come take over himself, he's welcome to take off and come up here next time.
Yeah, we did. We're gonna get him up here on this because it's worth telling the story. But we killed a rattlesnake and a deer on the same hunt, and that
That will be
And
a
that is-
special deal.
that is terrible to me though.
Yeah, I was fixed to that rattlesnake. I know does not excite Kyle at all.
But that will be one of the all-time most special hunts, I think. And I'm gonna talk about him a little bit more too. But this dude, he told me like the other night on the phone, man, I'm only gotten to sit 6 sits this year. And I said, Jordan, maybe I should keep saying his name, but you've had
In those 6 sits,
6 sits that I don't know of another person. Sorry, it's loud right there. 6 sits. I don't know of another person who's had better hunts
in the
world.
history
In their lifetime.
in the history of hunting.
in
Yeah.
the world of this year. Yeah, Kyle's right. And I'm like, dude, I wouldn't say a word. I would not say a word.
Day
You
one,
didn't put the I'm just like, dude, the very first opening morning of the season, you had the best sit of all time in where we were hunting.
passes up a 155-ish deer because he ain't big enough because he's seen 2 or 3 more bigger.
Yep.
It sees a booner at 60, something else, and just crazy, man. He makes sometimes.
Misses one a couple days
Love him.
later.
Love him though, but yeah, well, not miss one. Clang the stand,
Oh yeah, that was second day. Hit the window, scared one off.
hit the stand, clang the window, scared one off, shoots over the back of another deer.
I can't wait for Jordan.
Love it,
I can't wait for Jordan to listen to this.
I was going to say,
You ain't heard all this, have you?
no, I've not heard. No, he didn't tell me.
We
We
ain't gonna,
we're
we ain't
gonna
gonna go
bring
into
him in.
that
We'll
much
bring him
more.
in.
We won't talk bad about him anymore.
might need to get him a shotgun and some buckshot.
But no, Cole's hunt will be on Real Tree Outdoors and Monster Bucks and Jordan's hunt as well. But
What about, I know you've not had good luck with the whitetail. What, you killed a really nice mule deer in
Yeah.
Colorado
yeah, we had a
on a
rough,
tough.
hunt that turned into good right at the very end. And you gotta, it's when you see the episode, it's kind of rolling with the punches and not giving up. You know, we had an encounter with the landowner, and I made the mistake. We had not met our landowner that we had the landowner vouchers for, and his son pulls up. Or we hadn't met the landowner's son, and he pulls up and asks us, you know, what property we're supposed to be hunting on, and I said the wrong first name, and it was the landowner's brother whose name I said.
But they haven't communicated.
But they
in a
hadn't
couple of years.
communicated in a while, and they both have different landowner vouchers, and so he got a little bit irritated,
A little bit.
f-bombing us. Get the f
Oh,
out of
yeah.
here, y'all don't have this is his brother's land. You know, he was hunting too,
Yeah.
and so we thought about, like, man, we had another piece that had looked at that we knew was going to be a gar hole. So we thought, man, if this is all we got on this other piece, we're giving up. And so we went
The
back.
chance we were about to just take it to the crib.
Yeah, we about to pack up and just go back to Louisiana and Texas. But anyway, we got on X and figured out that, wait, I had made a mistake. Got it worked out with him where he apologized. We ended up becoming good friends with him, talking with him, laughing.
Great
He
guy.
was embarrassed.
He was really a
really
good
embarrassed
guy.
once he
Yeah.
figured out that he had, you know, kind of lost it for no reason. But you know, then we hunted some other little pieces of property that it was like constant. Even the one good piece of property, it's a battle for the deer to leave the property to go bed on the neighbor who always, just like Jeff says, turkey hunting. You know, you can lease the entire state of Texas and they gonna gobble in New Mexico.
Yep.
Well, when you mule deer hunting, apparently you can have all the property you want. They gonna be on the neighbor that
Yeah.
doesn't allow hunting.
Exactly.
And we saw that every day, and even to make it worse, the one afternoon we've got one little bedding area that's probably 2 acres, in the middle of some big ag fields. And the deer, we were hoping the deer would bed up in there. They would not. They would go to the bigger timber across the road. Well, just for whatever reason, one day they did. And that afternoon we saw them in there. We got set up on this old broke down Winnebago, got up on top of it where we could kind of see over in the bedding area, but it was too tall. We couldn't see enough. And we could see their horns turning, some good bucks, and just could not get a shot until they had gotten out into the open field, which was on the neighbor that doesn't allow hunting. And I know some boys from Louisiana that they would have come home with a mule deer, but however, we decided to be good, and we did not do that. We didn't want to shoot them over there. We thought maybe we could talk them into coming back on our property, but it never happened. But we ended up, through friends of a friends, getting permission to hunt another piece of property, and it was a beautiful, well maintained. If this landowner, he strategically plants for deer and stuff, and
Makes a big difference.
makes a big difference. And we
actually killed a great deer, but he passed a bigger one, a lot bigger deer, in my opinion.
Yeah,
And that's another story in itself too, because that could take a little while too. But
that evening, we wanted our buddy Ryan Norwood that was with us to kill one, and me and Cola both killed one. He had never killed one, and so the afternoon before we had tried to get him on one, and he missed it like 540 yards right at dark, and
That's a long ways.
Yeah, it was a long poke off a set of trigger sticks after basically making him run a 40-yard dash because they had seen us and they had boogered out of there.
probably wasn't a 40, probably more like a 140.
May have been a 140.
Hey, it ain't hard to talk Ryan into shooting. No, I talked him into
Oh,
trying.
no.
I talked him into trying a turkey this year at like 110.
Yeah.
Well, you can look at the shot.
I'll overlay it on this video.
There was 3 deer that me and Kyle were telling him to shoot the first one by the cedar tree.
The big one's by the tree. The big one's by the tree, Ryan.
I can't get steady. Calm down, just get steady.
I even got up under and let him put his elbow on my shoulder. It didn't help.
The bullet hits.
Amongst them.
I didn't hear no pop, Ryan. The bullet hit.
They go to running. I'm like, no, don't shoot
We didn't know
no
what
more. Let's
happened
watch
until we
them.
went
Let's
back
watch
and
them.
looked on the video.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he did during turkey when we were turkey hunting out there. This bird's out there. I think I say 110. I think he was ranging him. I think he was ranging him at 75 yards. And I was like, you got a 3.5-inch 12 gauge red dot on it, TSS. I mean, that's what you're carrying that for. He's like, well, what do you think? I was like, well, he's been hung up there for 30 minutes. He's not coming closer. We're running out of daylight. Try him. If you don't get him, we'll get on another bird. So he shoots. The turkey takes off flying away from us. He shifts another shell and shoots him again. And I'm just dying laughing. He's like, what are you laughing about? I was like, well, you missed him on the ground at 75. You think you're going to kill him flying at 112 or 120 or whatever he was?
Is that the one he did not kill that one?
No, he did not kill that one. He did kill his 2 turkeys, but that one was just a long shot.
That one's still out there gobbling on the roost.
He is.
Oh, goodness.
But no, the last day there was a big draw on the far left of the field, a big draw on the far east of the field, a big draw on the far west of the field. They were about 800 yards apart, and Ryan made the decision that if one came out on that west side, it was going to be too far for him to try to shoot. And Cole was gracious enough to having a 174-inch deer already in the bag to say, "Here, Kyle, you shoot at him. I'll film it." And but that's when I was away from him, and so when you're filming a hunt, the most important thing for as cameraman and all that being on the same page is being able to communicate.
Sure.
Well, if we're 100 yards apart, that's impossible. He's trying to call me. I'm like in
He
zone.
called me and said, I knew the camera he had, the light was running out.
Yeah.
And it wasn't dark, but that camera he's got
Yeah,
is really good
so I
quality,
had crawled
but the
down and I
light
was
is no good.
Yeah, I was self-filming from my angle, and
So
Cole
I had
was
the big
filming.
camera and the big lens that could zoom a mile away, and
And so we had gotten on the same page with, here's the deer I'm going to shoot. It was the only big buck with a little forkhorn and a couple does at the time. Well, they all get together, and I am now fighting my Primos trigger stick, and I'm trying to put my backpack in my lap and prop my elbows up. My foot's cramping up. I'm struggling, and it's wind blowing 15 miles an hour, and the deer won't get separated as much as I'd like him to feel comfortable taking a clean shot. Or when he does, he's facing away from me or facing toward me.
Filmed him for 30 minutes before.
Yeah, we filmed him for a while, and during this time, it's like really as it gets to crunch time, 3 or 4 more bucks come walking in from the left, and so if from my standpoint, I've got a Z8i dialed all the way to 28, and I'm focused like 100%, like I am killing this deer.
Yeah.
And so my window of view is very small at this point, and I just so happened to see a war daddy walk across from left to right, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
So I automatically go to that deer and don't get off of him.
So
Yeah.
you're thinking he's 100% going to shoot that deer, yeah.
He's changed it. That deer don't compare nothing to his deer, except for his deer was massive bodied, massive mature, maybe the oldest deer out there.
Yeah.
But I tried to call him too, but at this point it was too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the zone now. I'm like, everything's all off. I'm kill mode. I done blacked out. Well, I made the decision though. That property is so awesome. We would love to work out a deal with that landowner in the future to try to come back.
Yeah.
And so I made the split-second decision at that time that
We're gonna do him right.
we're going to do him right. I don't want to, and he did us a huge favor.
Yeah.
Huge
Sure.
favor to
It
let
came
us
down
come
to
hunt.
the last. You wonder why people go
Yeah.
on 6-7 day trips.
Because you need
We only
them.
went on a 4 or 5, and we needed 7.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
killed on the last evening of the last day.
Yeah, but he gave us, a huge favor just at least just letting us hunt.
Right.
And so I said, I'm going to shoot this old, mature, great deer. I love him.
No, he's a
Love
beautiful
him.
deer, for sure.
But to a mule deer hunter of this landowner's caliber, the deer I killed is a cull
yeah.
compared to the 180 that was standing by him. And so I made the decision, I'm not going to shoot the big, beautiful forked horn, that you all dream about. I'm fixing to kill this old big bully. And I love him. But Cole had seen the big one walk by, and he's looking through a tiny, and that's what people don't understand is too, when you're filming a hunt, it takes you out of all reality. You got nothing but a little bitty viewfinder that you have to do everything through. And so your depth perception, like everything goes away too. So when he just sees giant rack, he just immediately starts following him, and
then
they
if
split.
And I got to the dilemma, well, if I zoom out and get all of them in the frame, then it looks like jump because it's so
Yeah.
far out. And then nobody's going to be able to tell what deer he shoots. So do I guess?
Yeah.
Do I go for the first one or I go for the big one? And I'm like, man, at that point, I thought he was going to shoot the big one.
Yep.
But he did the right thing, but I thought he was going to shoot the big one. So he ended up getting it on his camera. It was just dark.
I got you.
But it's a good episode. You
Yeah.
can see good deer, but it was just I didn't get the kill because I stayed on the big deer. And when he shot, I heard the thump, but I saw the big deer standing there, and I'm like, he shot the wrong deer. He shot the wrong deer. I said, that thump wasn't no. He thumped that deer.
Yeah.
He dropped his deer, and I never saw it.
6'8" Western.
6'8" Western,
400
far?
yards.
400 yards.
Hit the dirt.
And I don't know if it just because of where we were up on a hill and it was a big echo, like it was the most beautiful report of a gunshot followed by that thump, just
That's
that you have
awesome.
ever heard in your life.
It was a thump and a half.
It was beautiful.
What is it that distinguishes the best? A wanting to defy reason, disrupt industry, and captivate the imagination. To be better, you should look further, dream bigger. Aspire by Bandit. Superior.
Yeah, talking about filming, self-filming, and all that, I gotta kick a little shout out to Matt.
Matt Garger from Real Tree.
Good gracious.
He did a good job.
I mean, a public land Georgia buck sitting on the ground by a tree with a bow, self-filmed.
It's just the other day.
If y'all hadn't seen it, you need to go to his I think his Instagram is just Matt Garger. But anyways, it's impressive.
Talking about a good dude too, who's not
Oh,
lazy
yeah.
in the slightest bit. One of
No,
the hardest
that's
working camera guys I think me and Kyle have ever seen.
Yeah, he is. When you deal with a lot of camera guys and stuff, including ourselves, is we get in a bad habit of just wanting to film the deer, you know, when the deer walks out and when he gets shot, and you don't want to do all the stuff that's.
Or if it's not a good hunt, you don't document
You know.
or you don't do things like you should. This
Right.
dude does it right
does it
every
good.
single day, every day.
Yeah, I
He's
know
gonna
he-
be big time one day.
Yeah. No, he was. I
I don't
hunted.
think Realtree will let him go, but if they do, it will be for a whole lot of money doing something one day.
Yeah.
I made a joke that, you know, we let him shoot old management deer that we'd been wanting to get off our place in Oklahoma for a while with his bow, and
Probably scored less than 100 inches.
yeah, 4 or 5 year old buck, less than 100 inches. Was
Killed
mainly
it
a
right
big
by-
6-point.
Killed
Yeah.
it right by the camp.
Yeah,
The
and
dude was-
he loved it and enjoyed it, but made a pretty good shot. Hit him a little high, but I'd take a high shot on my deer right now every day. That one I
He
boogered
put
up.
his hands on him though.
Yeah, you
no matter
dang
what he
right.
did. That's what makes
So-
that's what matters.
I told him before the hunt. I said, Matt, if you kill one during your celebration, you point out that you had to show us how to do it. I'm not afraid to own it. So I'm not sure if he did that or not. I hadn't watched his celebration, but
Well, while y'all been hunting, I've been here working. Somebody's got to work for a living.
Uh-huh.
I did kill a doe, I guess day 2 or 3 of bow season with the knocked the rust off the old crossbow. We may try to carry it up to Oklahoma.
We are
Up
going
to
to go back to
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
we all going in December, right? Duck deer combo.
That's the plan. Now, Jeff Simmons, my boss, he don't know that yet, but that's the
Yeah,
plan.
we won't.
I
tell
wish
him.
y'all Jeff would, since Jeff's going to listen to this podcast, you know, I wish he'd let you go whenever you wanted to go, not just
Maybe go
when you need to go.
spend a couple of weeks. I'd love to take. I got a 6.8 Western myself. I would love to take to Oklahoma, but I don't know. I mean, we get a deer
Those
within.
deer before we left. And
We
Kyle-
get a deer within 100 yards. That's a dead son of a gun. That Raven dude.
Oh,
Caleb's kind of got his own little spot up there.
Right
Nobody's even
right
seen.
now, Caleb's fear is 16 yards from the stand.
And he
That's
shot
what
a
Kyle
deer.
told me. So, yeah, and I'll probably get talked about just like Jordan because I've not made any work trips or anything like that. But I did buy a nice box stand and sent up there. And so Kyle texted me. He's like, "Hey, we got your box stand. We got it set up." I was like, "Sweet. How far from the feeder?" He said 16 yards. I said that is entirely too close.
almost-
I'll shoot over that deer by 4 feet.
Every doe in the country will be staring
Not
in
one
the windows.
person has sat in that stand.
So
Oh, it's
after,
been- it's
I don't
been-
know if we've told this, I won't tell the full story. If we told the whole story on the podcast, my deer last year up there, because so Cole tells me, hey, do you want to go to Oklahoma, deer duck hunt, shoot a management deer, whatever? And I'm like, yeah, man, I'd love to. So we work it out where I can go. And I was like, hey, what rifle? What you think I need to? I'm gonna have to change my point of impact change up there. We'll sight him. He's like, oh, I forgot to tell you, it's bow season. Anybody that knows
dang.
me
Oh,
knows how
man.
big of a bow hunter I am. I am not at all.
About like
and
me.
so I've got and so Rev, our archery man over there, my archery manager Todd Wooden, he's like, hey, we got the demo Raven R10, just take it. And because Cole's like, man, we can borrow a Raven. I was like, what happens? We got a demo. So we're busy as rip like we are the first week of December. I'm leaving on a Saturday about noon. Well, Rev comes by the gun counter mid-morning. He's like, hey, I got you. Here's your bow in here. I got your arrows. I got your I got your broadheads. I got everything you need to sight it in out to 100 yards. Just don't touch your speed ring and the dots are in the scope. I'm like, sweet, bro. I appreciate you. Well, I tear out of here about noontime, and I tell Cole, I'm like, I want to shoot this crossbow some for a hunt with it. So I tell him on the way up there, and he's like, oh, yeah, that's fine. We'll duck hunt in the morning, then we'll shoot it, and we'll go kill your deer tomorrow evening. All right, cool. Well, I get there, and Cole's like, hey, we're going to deer hunt in the morning. I was like, well, we hadn't. He was like, well, look, this deer, and it's, probably 140-inch, really nice, mature 8-point. He's coming in. I'm like, heck yeah, man, that's a heck of a deer. I'll be pumped about that if we can get that deer. All right, we're going to do it. And so at 5 the next morning, Cole and I are sitting there with his tailgate drop, where we're parking the truck and walk in. We're sitting there with his tailgate drop, and we were watching YouTube videos trying to figure out how to cock the damn crossbow. So I call Riley, another one of our archery techs. I'm sitting there
5
thinking,
in
I'm
the
like,
morning.
who may be awake? And so I didn't even call him. I just texted him. I said, are you up? And he calls me immediately. Hey, what's up? I was like, hey, how you cock this crossbow? He starts laughing. He's like, are you serious right now? I'm like, yeah, I'm serious. So We get
Emergency.
we get the crossbow cocked, we get in the blind. Sure enough, deer comes in just like clockwork, and I've not shot this crossbow, in which I trusted my guys over there. They had it sighted, in which they did. Every crossbow I ever shot had like a 9-pound trigger.
Yeah.
So we were looking at the deer through the binoculars. Cole's like, yeah, that's him. Let's just let it get a little more. He's like, all right, it's light enough. I can see him on camera. Go ahead and kill him. Well, he's standing at broadside, 35 yards. Well, I kind of turned and I'm trying to get steadied up, and I got in the second mistake. I got my finger on trigger for him ready to shoot. So as I'm kind of turning, I hear a thump, and I look. I
Thing went off.
Yeah,
I was
that thing.
filming it, and I'm like,
And Cole
oh
looked
my
at-
gosh,
Cole looked at me
he
and
shot
said-
so
He
fast.
said, hey, what just happened? I said, hey, it ain't good. Whatever just happened
ain't
is
good.
not good. But anyways, we knocked a few
We
belly.
still don't know what happened.
What happened was I had my finger on the trigger
No,
before I was ready
did
to
it
shoot.
hit the deer?
Well, we found some hairs, like some white hairs.
Did it
I think
skin
it was.
his leg or something?
Almost shot his pecker off, I think.
I think so.
It was
I
that
think
long
so.
white hair.
So we're lucky he didn't shoot that much higher and hit gut or
Yes.
something.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Because
Oh, thank you,
Kyle
Lord.
had pictures of the deer. The deer made it. Whatever, everything was
Oh,
cool.
we knew he wasn't hurt bad, but then you never know if that wound.
Well, and then you still want to do the right thing. Go look. So Cole and I did. We went and we looked and we looked and we spent our time looking. And we were, hey, screw this. Let's go eat breakfast. So then we
Yeah, that morning the deer walked by a cell cam about 400 yards. I remember from where y'all shot.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
called you and I said, "Hey,
You
just
called,
walked by,
you
he walked
like,
by
hey,
that
he just walked
camera."
by the camera. So,
Yeah.
and we went to that camera, looked in front of it, and of course, no blood, no nothing. So, the next couple of days we hunted, and it was just kind of. I saw the deer came back in the next morning, but he skirted me big time. Like he wasn't coming nowhere near that feeder.
He done jumped up and bit him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so
Oh, there's a rattlesnake over there.
so it's the next to last day, and Cole's like, hey, there's a spot over here. There's an old raggedy tripod, and he was not joking when he said old raggedy tripod. He's like, I don't really know what's there. We just leased a spot 2 weeks ago. You can go hunt. He said, you kill whatever you want to. You can't mess up. You shoot the wrong deer, who cares? I'm like, whatever, I'll go. And so, and it was 80-something degrees, winds blowing, because me and
Was
Matt,
it that hot? I
it
can't
was
remember.
82 degrees when we left the camp. And because me and Matt Garrett were talking, he's like, what do you guys, I said, man, we ought to start us a dang card game, put some ribs on the grill, sit here and drink cold beer. So me and Garrett and Odie, we're all texting, and they're like, you seen anything? I'm like, heck no, we could be playing cards right now, having ribs on the grill, and be drinking beer at the camp instead of sitting here sweating, not seeing anything. And about that time, here he comes. And
Only deer you saw.
the only deer I saw, the only deer I needed to see. Deer scored 159 7/8 what he ended up scoring. But he comes down the fence road, jumps over in the wheat field, and he's walking away. I'm like, oh my gosh. Now, when I first saw him, I thought he was going to come right up to the feeder. I'm looking, I'm ranging like 105, something like that. And I put the, and I had no intention of shooting a deer that far. I know it's unethical that you get bashed for stuff like that, whatever. So I pull the crossbow up, and I'm just thinking, I'm like, what? I just want to see how steady I can hold this 100-yard pin there. And I just ranged him 105, and as I'm picking my crossbow up, he takes a couple more steps, and it's almost like I didn't even have control of my trigger finger. I had it sitting
right.
there, and it all felt
Just
right.
one of those moments.
And next thing I know, I done let her fly, and that lighted knot looked like a Roman candle flying out across there. And I'm sitting there watching. So I done set my crossbow down, pick my binos up, and I'm looking. I'm like, we're gonna get pretty close. And it felt like it took 5 minutes for it to get there. Hit that dude right below the spine and dirt rolled him right there. So I'm calling Cole and texting him, and he's like shady buttoning me because he's trying to scout for ducks. He finally texts me back. He's like, what do you want? I was like, I just dirt rolled this deer over 100 yards. And he's like, and he calls me. He's like, hey, what are you, like, you ready to go or something? I was like, no, I'm serious. He said, oh my God.
I really did not believe him in the slightest bit.
And so I go to the deer, and I'm all excited, high five myself, turning flips, basically get my hands on this awesome freaking buck. And I ranged I thought about it. I picked my rangefinder up from where I was sitting there at the deer, and I ranged my death pod, I call it, that tripod I was hunting out of.
It's still there.
And it was 107 yards what I ranged the tripod at. So
I'll never forget that. That was something.
hey, they always say
Sold-
that my
sold
dad always
more
said that the
ravens
good
'cause of
Lord
that.
looks after the ignorant and deflected, and that a little truth comes to it. And that day got a little lucky there. Oh yeah, man, I've sold some Raven crossbows.
Is that, how far does thing shoot, man? 107 yards. I killed
107.
this big one dead.
Well, and that's what the R10. That was 400 feet per second. They make a 450 and now a 500
Oh,
foot per
gosh.
second one. I get one of those. We may reach on out there a little further. But anyways, we're gonna we'll take a little break. Cole's actually got to get packed up to go on another big hunting trip, and me and Kyle will come back and finish this thing up. Good luck, Cole.
All right, man.
Since the beginning, Browning has strived to be an industry leader in innovation and technology. Speed, reliability, and one of the lightest recoiling shotguns on the market today, the Maxus 2. Browning, the best there is.
I seen a picture of Jackson looking kind of doom and gloom in the passenger seat of the truck this year.
Yeah, man, a little youth season action. I finally talked him into, we hadn't shot any does on our place in a while. And I say hadn't shot any, we'll shoot one or two every now and then, but he wouldn't shoot a doe, just didn't want to shoot a doe. He killed his first year with a spike, and he killed that nice 7-point last year at Thanksgiving. Then we took him to Jeff's place in February where he wreaked havoc. And I told him this year, I said, we got to shoot some does, bud. I said, either you can shoot them or I said, Uncle Colbert said he'd shoot them for dang sure. And so youth season, I was like, look, it's youth season. Knocked the rust. All right, D, I'll shoot a doe. Well, we get, and I get him off from school that day after school, and it was hot. I was like, look, dude, it's hot. Mosquitoes are out. I said, you want to just pass on this? Maybe it'll cool off, or we can wait on rifle season in a couple of weeks. I want to go. I'm like, all right, well, if you just hell bent on going, let's go. So we go. We get in the stand, and, man, we ain't in there 20 minutes. Some does walk out. I was like, heck, we're finna knock this out and be done sweating, And I get him propped up there, and I'm like, all right, you on her? I'm on her, Dad. I'm on her. All right. And it was kind of like Cole and me in that crossbow and saying, hey, shoot when you're ready. And like, as soon as I said the word shoot one, and I didn't even get whenever out of my mouth, pow! And it was one of them, you talk about your mule deer where you had the big whop behind it.
Right.
This one went,
It just echoed forever.
and like it's like the bullet. It may still be going somewhere. And as soon as he did it, I think he realized he made it, because he's a pretty good dang shot for a kid. And he realized he made a bad shot. He turned and looked at me real quick. He said, what happened? I said, you missed. And he said, I missed bad, didn't I? I said, yeah, you did. I said, hey, look. I said, it happens. It happens. Don't worry about it. It happens. So
doe fever.
We rifle season actually is just opened back up, and we've went a time or two. It's been hot, man. It's been terrible weather for it, but weather's getting right and deer's starting to move. So we're gonna get him a deer on the ground here in the next couple of weeks, hopefully.
That's good. That's good. We're, me and Cole, we've got Oklahoma. Cole's actually going to Canada, to Saskatchewan with Realtree, leaving tomorrow. That's why he had to cut out early.
Yep.
They're filming a hunt for Realtree Outdoors there. It's going to be uber cold, but I'm going to Texas. We've had a decent buck at Winters.
Really?
Show up, about 130.
How about that?
And I'm going to make a
That's
hard
the
run at
first
that deer.
that's ever showed up on camera
Decent
worth
one.
shooting, isn't it?
First one.
Heck
And
yeah.
so I'm going to make a hard run at him this weekend. And then next week, catch up on work because we've been hunting too much. And then rifle season is our time in Oklahoma where we really dig in and try to knock out a couple TV episodes and kill some more deer. Now,
Quality
however, we've people look at what we've done on social media and stuff, and they think that, man, we must have the greatest place in the world, and we have an unbelievably great place, but we've had to turn it into that. As far as killing big deer, by letting them grow, letting them go, and all that. Well, unfortunately, we have killed the top end out of our whole ranch this year. Like we've killed a 160, a 174, and a 176. And if we kill a deer over 140 during gun season, we will be doing something. And it's just the way it is. Now we have some good deer that are high 40s, mid 40s type deer that they're not ready yet.
Right.
And it takes a great deer to become a great deer, like Cole's deer. Cole's deer was 155, back in 2019. He was a great deer in 2019, but we were letting him go. He made it easier for us because he was real hard to see. But since 2019, he's kind of stepped up, to got to 174. So it takes a great deer to become a great deer usually, for the most part. So this year we're going to be, we're not looking for big horns. We're looking for big mature deer. We just enjoyed killing big deer.
Yeah.
Old mature deer, they done got to score 170. We just blessed that Cole killed one, Jordan killed a big one. I've killed big ones in the past, but this year I may settle for a 140 and love it.
And look, killing a big mature deer is an accomplishment. I don't care where you are in the country or what, or if he scores 110 or if he scores 210.
That's right.
Killing a mature deer is a heck of an accomplishment.
Kill them as big as your area will grow them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And be proud of it. Don't if it's a basket rack 8-point that weighs 200 pounds and he scores 85 and that's as big as they get, you've done something when you kill that deer, and you be proud of it.
Our buddy Lloyd Landry, I meant to send you the picture. Our buddy Lloyd Landry up in Missouri this week killed a deer. Hang on, let me see how old he's sick, because he had, and he's got a property up there that he's known. He said this is an 8-year-old deer and just a big old gnarly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And maybe 140-inch 8-point probably, but he's big old mature buck. I mean, that gets my blood pumping, dude.
That's right. That's right. Nothing like it. We hunt everything. We're blessed to grow up in the great state of Louisiana, and I lived in Alabama for a long time. And you can hunt a lot of creatures, but something about them big whitetails that do it for us. We love to duck hunt. We do everything, but
so
it's a
duck
good thing we
season's-
don't have to pick one.
Speaking of ducks coming up, and we're ready for it, and hopefully we can get some dang rain. I'm afraid we're gonna have another dry one like last year, where, and there's a lot of ducks here right now. I went speck hunting with Maddie this week, and we could have killed a limit of ducks. Just not duck season yet. A lot of ducks, so anxious to see what they do when they start getting shot at in every puddle of water they get to, because there's not any slash water backed up. Hopefully they'll hang around. Hopefully, and we got a little rain in the forecast. God, Mississippi Rivers. There's a guy in here a week ago said that there was about 30 barges full of soybeans sitting to port at Lake Providence on the river. Can't move because the river's too low to move them.
Oh man.
So I mean, it's a pretty serious deal. I mean, the Mississippi Flyway is probably the most iconic flyway, I would say, in the United States. And but maybe Mother Nature and good Lord will send us some rain. And
That's right. We'll there's something we could do a little test on. Arkansas, Mississippi Flyway. You can pay attention on. Some people say, where I live and hunt in that Central Flyway, Texas, Oklahoma, that when it's really dry like that, those ducks move over.
move west.
They move east.
Move east.
The ones
okay.
that are west, in
I
that
got
Central
you.
Flyway, they move east, and so it could be maybe really good. That's for that, not for me, but for that Louisiana, Mississippi Flyway. So just something kind of be looking
Something
for.
to think about, and we'll look for it. And we're going. Duck report starts up soon, and we'll get some reports from some different guys, really all over the country on ducks, and talk about that some next episode. And
I know I walked by Jeff earlier, and he found out Cole was going to Canada. And he said, only thing he has. Well, he has two things. He said, "Are you going to Canada with Cole?" I said, "No." He said, "Is he going to be back for opening day of duck season?" I said, "Yeah, I'm sure he told him that he has to be."
Cole is the glue that holds our duck hunting stuff together, man. He puts in a lot of time scouting, a lot of time working on the blinds and stuff like that, and that's a lot of reason we have a lot of success. But
He called me this morning and said that teal was like mosquitoes in one spot. So that's
I love teal.
that's all we need. Forget the mallards. I don't care.
No, I don't either. I love teal, blackjack, shovelers, all the good stuff. We love it. But if you want to get on the mailing list or the email blast list, do that at SimSportingGoods.com. And we appreciate y'all listening. See you next time.
See ya.